Okay, probably the biggest misconception in the martial arts industry is that martial arts schools are somehow regulated. It's actually an unregulated industry, believe it or not. That means that there's no regulation or licensing process on a federal, state, nor local level. So if you think about someone who wants to, say, be a plumber or an electrician, they need to achieve a license. They need to take a state-mandated exam. That's actually not in place, believe it or not, for martial arts schools, which I know is scary because what you have is a situation where it's an industry that's primarily children, and it's a contact sport. So to assume that someone doesn't even need to have knowledge of, say, even basic first aid to open a facility and start teaching is a little bit of a scary proposition. And where that kind of stems from is that there's really no one universal governing body for martial arts. Okay, so what I mean by that is that Taekwondo is different than karate, is different than jiu-jitsu, is different than kung fu, and there's no one central body that issues rank. So it's not like it translates. Someone who has a 3rd degree black belt here versus someone who has a 5th degree black belt here versus someone who has a 7th degree black belt here, they're not all held to the same standards. So it's very difficult. And as parents, right, it's challenging because you want to ask the right questions, right? You want to say, well, how many kids in are in each class? Or what style of martial arts is this? But there's always that underlying assumption that on some level, there's kind of a baseline that everybody has passed some exam or everybody is a certified instructor or whatever the case is. And really, that's not the issue. Anybody that has achieved any sort of rank or is certified, it's always through a private organization, which in some cases, depending who the governing body is, may even be overseas. So it just makes it that much more important to really do your homework as a parent and ask the right questions and things like that, because there's no one that's going to do that for you. Things such as, who's going to be working with my child, right? Have they had a background check? How long have you been in business? Can I talk to other parents of students? Can I watch a class? Can I talk to parents of kids who have made it all the way to black belt, right? And really the best thing to do sometimes is just do a short-term trial program, speak to the chief instructor of the school, understand what their culture is, understand what their philosophy is, and see what their track record in the community is as well. Because again, it is an unregulated industry, and anybody who tells you differently is simply not telling you the truth. So we all know that our children are our most precious asset. We want to do what's right for them, but also for adults, right? I mean, again, somebody opening a school that doesn't have any knowledge of exercise physiology or how to perform a proper warm-up or what's safe and what's not for, say, different age groups. Someone in their 20s might have different needs than someone in, say, their 50s or 60s. It becomes just that much more important to really do your homework. And a lot of people say, well, there's 3 schools within driving distance. School A is $100 a month, School B is $125, and School C is $150. Let's go with School B because it's right in the middle. It's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest, right? And again, it's that assumption that martial arts is kind of like a commodity. Sure, this guy might teach a little differently, this guy might be a little higher ranking, this guy's facility might be a little bit bigger, but they've all kind of been through whatever licensing or ranking, and it's just not that way. So just to keep your family safe, always make sure that you do your due diligence and make sure you get involved with a school that is going to do the right things for you.